Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be breaking down Aliona Kostornaia's interview with Laysan Utyasheva. This is a cooking show and giving an informal interview about the personal life of Aliona Kostornaia. I've done a whole series on Kamila Valeeva, Alexandra Trusova. There's also Alina Zagitova's interview and Evgenia Medvedyeva's. If you want to see them, please let me know in the comments down below. And so this interview is really particular because it's really the conversation about the injuries that Aliona Kostornaia has had, her transition from being a single skater to being a pair skater, and just everything behind the scenes of what was going on in her life. So if you didn't know, Aliona Kostornaia moved at the age of 18 away from her parents, and it actually happened quite spontaneously. She broke her arm and decided to look for apartments outside and found a really nice apartment that she really liked and bought it. And then from there on, without even asking the permission of her parents, she moved out, and it was a shock for her mum, mostly. With rhythmic gymnastics, usually the athletes live away from their parents. They live in little complexes and on base, and they train, and they're used to living on their own. So when they move out at a young age, that's fine. But in figure skating, that doesn't happen. So you were usually all the time with your parents, and your parents are always in trainings and always together. But it was strange for her to move away from her parents at a very young age. She said she did actually live on base for a couple of months. It was during COVID times, and she actually saw some rhythmic gymnasts and they were living together. At first, she really liked it and kind of was jealous that the rhythmic gymnasts always have to live in complexes away from their parents. But after a couple of months, she did really miss her parents and said that she would never do that, and she was happy how things were in figure skating. The decision to move to her parents wasn't taken lightly. Her dad was actually kind of on edge, but at first he was like, you are a grown adult, it's up to you, you can decide for yourself. But the mother was really upset. Aliona actually had to visit her multiple times in order to apologize and still kind of rekindle that connection, because the mother is obviously really worried and attached to the child. But Aliona is that type of person that really wants things to happen fast, to happen quickly. She always kind of wants to like rush in life in some sort of way, and the spontaneous side of it, and it's quite emotional as well. That's where she makes the decision most.
Мне интересны детали. Я съехала. Как это было? Вот мама, папа, все, я уезжаю. Как это?
Если бы у меня была травма, у меня была сломана рука.
Да.
Я правшая, у меня была сломана правая. И вот что-то в очередной раз мы не поделили, я не помню, как что произошло. А я все уже самостоятельно, все можно, 18.
Сама зарабатываю.
Ну, типа да. И я просто в один момент поехала, посмотрела квартиры, та, что понравилось, договор заключила, и все.
Сама
на следующий день, да.
Послушай, а ты вот не из тех фигуристок, которые на базе живут, вот без родителей, долго?
Нет, у нас вообще такое практикуется только если на сборах. Вот куда-то там на базу уехать.
Счастливые вы люди, а?
Да, у нас был когда карантин, я до этого думала, блин, как круто, вот повезло, там девочки, мы когда приезжали, там всегда девочки-гимнастки. И я такая, вау, вы тут живете постоянно, это же так классно.
Всю жизнь.
А потом я пожила 3 месяца безвылазно и поняла, что, господи, какой кошмар, как мне жаль.
The decision to move to pairs figure skating wasn't actually planned at all. She really wanted to continue doing an individual approach, but it just so happened that she had a hip injury, and that hip injury was really severe because she had to go into surgery, and when you go into surgery, that's going to be anesthesia. You have to recover your body, and the elements that she had to do, for example, the jumps, she physically wouldn't be able to keep up in individual figure skating because it's so competitive, and she always wanted to stay in the sport for a very long time. And the backup plan was to do pair skating because she's small anyway, she's under 5 foot, and that's perfect for pair skating. With the hip injury, she tried to go to x-rays, to MRI, and to really think that it was just a normal injury, didn't really think much of it until her coach was like, no, this is actually a really serious injury and you really have to test yourself. And the doctor said that you can't go on ice and you have to go to surgery because she wasn't even unable to walk. There's also a possibility for her not to do the surgery and live with this hip injury, but not do figure skating and just retire. But knowing Aliona Kostornaia, she really wanted to skate along in her career. She absolutely loved figure skating and would do anything for the sport. So she said she really wanted to do the surgery in order to go on.
Ну, ты вообще такая кипишная, то есть классные результаты ты показывала в одиночном катании, вот, а потом бац, и захотела в парное.
Ну, тут больше не то, что захотела, а у меня была операция, и после нее я поняла, что мне будет очень тяжело снова восстанавливать прям все прыжки и собирать их в том объеме, который требует одиночного катания.
А можешь рассказать про операцию, пожалуйста? Как это вообще случилось? Не хочется перепрыгивать.
Ну, как всегда, типичный спортсмен. Что-то больно, тренируемся дальше, что-то больно, тренируемся дальше. Ну, там сходила пару раз на физио, ничего не помогло. Вот. И потом на сборах, после такого отпуска.
Surgery did take 4 hours. And after her surgery, she straight away called Anna Shcherbakova because that is one of her closest friends in figure skating, which is strange because you'll think they're two biggest rivals at a time. They were always competing for first and second, training together, and you'll think they'll have this tension, but actually they always supported each other. Aliona Kostornaia said it's strange. When I didn't win and she beat me, I was always happy. I always supported her. And the same thing with Anna Shcherbakova. So they always found this mutual bond that really strengthened, and they always talked together. During that operation as well, she couldn't actually move one of her legs because it was this big and the other one was small. They had to have this kind of operator to flex the muscles in order for the muscles to work because she will need to learn how to move her body. To track back when she was in the individual program in figure skating, her main goal was the Olympics at 18 years old, which was supposed to be the 2022 Beijing Olympics. But she broke her right arm first, and it was a shock because it was a minor thing. She was messing around with one of her teammates and they were kind of arguing and betting to do these jumps, and she landed the triple axel, fell on the floor and kind of cracked her wrist. And this was right before the Russian nationals, which was 2 weeks. In the 2 weeks, they then had to decide who would go to the Olympics. So she missed her opportunities just because she was falling around and she broke her right arm. She was in a bandage and in a cast. The doctor said it's a broken arm and she would be out for about 2 months. But because it was the Russian national, the coaches kind of forced her to do choreography, to do things still, to try do some jumps because it's just your arm in the cast, not much, to still continue training and maybe she would be able to perform. But the coaches were forcing her to do these jumps. Aliona Kostornaia did not feel safe jumping with the broken arm in a cast because it was weighing her down and she was scared that she'll fall again and injure even more and she'll be out for a whole entire season. And so she denied to work. The coaches were shocked. They were saying that she was a rude person, that she didn't respect the coaches, that she didn't respect her parents, she didn't respect herself because she didn't want to work. But Aliona Kostornaia said that she was unsafe doing these jumps because she has a broken cast. And so she missed out the Russian nationals, which meant that she wasn't able to go to the Olympics at all. She missed out a whole entire season, which was supposed to be her Olympic moment. She had to then restore all her jumps again, starting from scratch. A couple of weeks later, after her cast was removed from her right arm, she started skating. She restored her 1 jumps, then her 2 jumps, and then she was going for the triple jumps. It was a slightly easier jump than the axel, but she landed not good and broke her left arm, which again meant that she was out for another season. The coaches were appalled and actually said that you are all broken and we don't want to work with you at all. They basically kicked her out of the academy and said that you are all broken and we don't want to work with you. You don't want to work. You don't have motivation. You don't have desire. We don't want to. We want to focus on the people that really want to be here. And so she was kicked out of the Team Tutberidze and left with a broken left arm, which she had to restore.
Начинает болеть кисть рука. Я думаю, так, наверное, это быть не должно. Снимаю перчатку, она такая, ну, довольно жесткая фиксация перчатка была, а у меня рука просто, ну, вот здесь вот просто вот, она вот на глазах вот так шире становится и синеет.
Ой.
Синеет и краснеет, я думаю, ну, все. А это перед чемпионатом России было.
Отборочным, да?
Да, именно туда. Это как раз отбор на Олимпиаду был. Ну, мы выходим с мамой, едем на рентген, перелом, гипс. Я звоню одному из тренеров, мне говорят, ну ладно, завтра можешь не приходить. Я говорю, окей. Ну, я раскаталась, мне говорят, иди прыгай. У меня ступор. У меня рука вот так, то есть она... Все, ну, то есть движение только в плечевой сустав. И я так это, раз, одинарный пробую, в один оборот прыжок, раз. Ну, там вообще, там гипс вот так перевешивает, рука не сгибается. Я думаю, так, ну, допустим. Я просто понимаю, что если я сейчас вот пойду не в полную силу, аккуратничая на правую руку, да, как бы, соответственно, я буду аккуратничать, я не буду делать полную силу, я не задам того темпа, той инерции, которая нужна. Соответственно, у меня элемент не получится, и я в воздухе просто, ну, не доделала несколько оборотов, приземлюсь на голову. Оно того не стоит. Я так подумала, вот. В итоге сказала о том, что я не буду сегодня прыгать. Мне сказали, что я хамка, что я не уважаю труд никого, ни родителей, ни тренеров, никого, как я вообще посмела отказываться работать.
С гипсом?
Да. Я говорю, ну ладно, что же, мне не привыкать. Мне образ хамки создали, я говорю, ну буду хамкой, что ж поделать. Бывает. Я выхожу на лед, на третий день захожу в прыжок и ломаю левую руку. Так же.
В этот же прыжок?
Нет, слава богу. Ну, я начала восстанавливать. Первый день я прыгала в один оборот прыжки, во второй день в 2 оборота, соответственно, на третий день я пошла в прыжки 3 оборота. Ну, такой, не самый сложный для меня. Ну, в общем, я напрыгивала и допрыгала, что так же, только на левую приземлилась. Сломала левую. Вот.
О чем ты подумала в этот момент?
Я подумала, что, в принципе, уже что так, все равно 4 года ждать. Ну и тренеры мне в конце льда сообщают, что ты там вся поломанная, переломанная, уже работать не хочешь, не желаешь, нас ни во что не ставишь. Ну, как бы все, мы с тобой больше работать не будем. То есть, ну, типа, все, мы тебя выгоняем.
Классная поддержка.
Да. Я говорю, ну, это было очевидно.
From then on, it was a shock to her that she broke the left arm straight away. But then she already missed out the opportunity to go to the Olympics. So she was like, oh, well, I still have 4 more years. And this was the thought of her after a couple months if she really wanted to go into pair skating. But the transition to pair skating didn't happen automatically. It actually kind of soothed in and it happened all naturally. Gorsha, which is her partner now and her husband, was looking for a figure skating partner. He also came from an individual program and into pair skating. He was looking for a pair skater. But prior to that, they were also competing in shows. And in the show, they had to do some basic pair movements and doing some elements that are usual in pair skating. Aliona Kostornaia was like, why don't we just try doing this for show? It'll be a good opportunity to earn some money, plus try out and see if we like the pair skating or not. Then we can think about competitive skating. So they tried it out, they really liked it. It happened so that the injury in the hips happened and Aliona Kostornaia again was out. This time, Gorsha was really patient with her. He did everything to help her restore back, helped her walking, helped her getting back on her feet and into the skate and into the ring, working on some moves with her. So he was always there along with her. There wasn't any romantic connection yet. They were just considered as really good friends. She then called the Russian Figure Skating Federation because she's part of the national team. They can help her out and try and look for a different coach because she, of course, left at Team Tutberidze. So then they gave her to go to the SSK where she would be able to be set a program and she would be continuing her training. Gorsha also really motivated Aliona Kostornaia to keep going whenever she really wanted to give up in some sort of way. He's really calm, whereas she's more feisty and emotional. So the two really go together. He was helping her dress, he was helping her with the luggage, and he just kept tagging along with her every time. if she needed to go to the vets with her pet, then Gosha would always be with her. And so it just happened so naturally that he always tagged along and they were always seen together. So then when she was sitting with Anna Shubakova and they were just having tea, they were discussing about Gosha and if she had any romantic love connection with him or feelings for him. And so Aliona was like, let's just call him and find out. She called Gosha and said, why are you just tagging along with me? Like, are we dating? Are we in love? And Gosha was like, well, yes, like we are in a relationship. And she's like, thank you. So that kind of established. So there was never a transition of dating or getting to really know each other. It just so happened quite smoothly and very naturally, like it was never planned at all.
Я понимаю, что я, наверное, уже не смогу прыгать в том объеме, в котором это нужно.
Ну, то есть страх уже этот есть. Вначале один прыжок учила, руку сломала, потом
Даже
второй.
Нет, это именно не страх, а это именно просто боль. Мне нога не позволит столько сделать, сколько это требуется. Я говорю, может быть, попробую что-то другое. И тут у меня как раз была мысль, а почему бы не попробовать парное. И для начала мы просто...
Тебе кто-то эту мысль подкинул? Или...
Нет, я всегда знала, что я очень маленькая, и мама у меня очень маленькая. У меня мама ниже, чем я, на чуть-чуть. Почему бы не попробовать? Тем более, что я должна была участвовать в шоу, где требовалось как раз-таки вот умение хотя бы базовых каких-то парных элементов, катания в паре, да, какие-нибудь маленькие поддержечки, может быть, там, вращение, то есть всякая такая парная история. Я вот, я написала Гоше.
Сама написала?
Да, предложила ему попробовать.
А ты
для шоу.
с федерацией это как-то согласовывала?
Нет, это же шоу, а там кружок самодеятельности, кто во что гораст. Хочешь, пробуй. И значит...
А почему именно Гоша?
Мы как-то с ним уже общались, как раз вот мне сделали операцию.
Да ладно, скажи, просто нравился парень.
Не, были контрольные прокаты, и мы говорим... Я как раз вот ему в этот момент пересеклись случайно. Вот, он говорит, что он в поиске партнерши. Я говорю,
по жизни.
Да, лишний заработок не бывает, не хочешь попробовать, типа, в шоу?
Ага.
Он говорит, давай. И вот мы, значит, аккуратно, я как раз вместе с ним начала на лед вставать, потому что я вообще должна была не кататься очень долго.
A year later of skating, of getting to know each other, they got married and they are now husband and wife, and they are also expecting a baby. In terms of pair skating, according to Aliona, they're not quite competitive skaters yet. They still need a minimum of 3 years in order to remain competitive and be in the top 7 or top 4 and compete in skating. But she does go into competitions and they are still doing some elements, but she says they are not as advanced as the other skaters because in Russia, again, it's very competitive and there are a lot of talented skaters. According to her, she says that the top 5, any pair skater, individual women skating or even male, unable to have the chance to win that Olympic gold, no matter if they are 1st or 10th against the international stage. So that's how the competition is very competitive in Russia in terms of figure skating because there's so much talent. She says they're quite raw right now, but give them 3 more years and they will start connecting and start doing more competitive things and hopefully being in the top 5 in pairs figure skating. In terms of her dream is still to go to the Olympics, still compete her way, and just to get that feeling that she's actually gone to the Olympics is a whole journey in itself. She says that usually they're always planted in your head that you have to be the Olympic champion, you have to get this gold, but just being in the Olympics is already an accomplishment in itself. She really does want to skate along and figure skating is her life. She wants to do shows, she wants to do choreography, coaching. She always wants to get involved in figure skating, whatever it is, and says that even if she takes a pause in her career, she wants to come back and skate until she's at the age of 30. In terms of lifting the age from 15 to 17, she says it's actually correct because now there's actually a clear boundary of women's senior skaters and then the juniors. There is a clear difference. She says she likes looking at both. In the seniors, we like looking at clean lines, the elegant, telling a story, showing the emotional side of things and being elegant. Whereas in juniors, it's also really cool because you're able to see the different skating levels, the elements, the jumps. They are really advanced and they're both very different because in juniors, it's hard to tell emotion. They're quite more rigid and don't use as much emotional storytelling as the seniors. So there's a clear difference and she likes looking at both. It also gives a chance for longer careers and long-term skating. She said because in the seniors, there's a lot of 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds that are doing crazy jumps and really hurting themselves in the long term. And it doesn't give them an opportunity to skate for very long because there's always a rush for just doing jumps, whereas the storytelling, the artistry is getting ignored. But with the ban lifted up, it gives a chance for more Russian skaters to skate longer. Laysan Utyasheva said, who does she really like watching in terms of the seniors, individuals, skaters? And she said that she really likes Adelia Petrosyan right now. She is the strongest. And in terms of the juniors, Margarita Baziluk and Aliona Kostornaia, because both really good at jumping. And she says that Aliona Kostornaia has really good skating. She's like a cat on the ice. Other hobbies that she has includes horse riding. She really likes animals and especially she has quite a few dogs scattered around with different family members, but she just loves animals completely. She donates to charities, to animal shelters, because she can't really afford to have another dog in the apartment. She already has one. And wherever there is an animal shelter, she tries to donate. But she also sings and takes vocal lessons because she really wanted to practice her vocals and really she is quite musical and played instruments as well. And with that, she wants to continue doing vocal lessons just to have a voice. I really hope you guys enjoyed this interview. If you did, please give it a like, subscribe, comment down below, and I will see you in my next video. Mwah.